All right, welcome back to the channel. So we're still in Sumo Day and we have just a couple hours left. I'm going to try to get this video out as soon as I can. This is the only other tool that was brand new this week that I really wanted to get my hands on. I got access to Tier 2, which gives me access to a custom model, which I wanted to train for myself to see if I could use this tool and to see if it was better than the, PhotoGPT that recently launched that didn't do well with creating images. It was kind of so-so. So this is Seelab. It's got some really good initial reviews. It's at 5 stars right now, all 5 stars. That looks really good. Looks like they've been around for 2 years. They've been around for 2 years, based out of France, still in the startup phase and seed phase. We're going to come down here and it does say you get access to the premium models, but you don't get access to Imagen 4. All right, so we're doing a giveaway for this year's AppSumo Sumo Day 2025. And this year's winner will get access to their tool of choice. You get to choose any tool that's part of the Sumo Day event. You get to choose a Tier 2 access. And I went and just did a brief look kind of at 5 to 10 tools. And the average right now for Tier 2 is $100 to $200. Yes, the prices have gone up, but $100 to $200 value for this giveaway. So all you have to do is just go to this page, the first link below, first or second link below, sign up. All you need is your email to access this, and you will be entered to this giveaway, and then we'll reveal the results this Thursday, June 12th, after the Sumo Day event is over. So thanks. You have to be on one of their monthly paid plans to get that because that's one of the highest models right now, but you do get all the other models. And then right over here, you get collections and all that kind of good stuff. And then really the biggest things from each tier that separates it is going to be the amount of images that you can create increases quite a bit depending on what tier you're on. And then also a custom model. I think that's the most important reason to get this, in my opinion, especially if you're going to use this for use cases like me, a content creator that wants to use AI images that look exactly like themselves, but then place them in Hawaii or doing something that they don't normally do to get some really cool images. So the custom AI model, license tier 1 is $79. You do not get a custom model. Don't pick this tool up unless you get at least license tier 2. That's going to give you one custom model, and you don't get one per month. I think you just get one. And so the license tier 2 is $129. License tier 3 is $219, and you get 3 custom models. And license tier 4 is $399, and you get 5 custom models. So that's the pricing. We're going to jump right in. I've already been in the tool for an hour messing around with it. So far, I'm very impressed. I do think that this tool is better than, and this isn't a comparison video or anything like that, but I do think that this tool is more developed and easier to use, and the output is better. You guys are probably asking, spend an hour in the tool. The AI model is really, really good. Now, there's a lot of things I haven't done in the tool, but basically I'll just try to walk you through what I know. The first thing that I did was I came over here to custom models, which is similar to PhotoGPT, the way that this looks and the way that it's set up. But I got to train my own. Here's the data sets. But what you would do is you would create your AI model right here. It'll walk you through. I chose photography for mine, but you can do avatar and character as well. And then you can actually buy these. If you are on tier 1 or tier 2 and you want to buy more, you can get custom models right over here. A pack of custom models times 5 is $10 per model. Just one-time payment, $50. You get to train 5 more models. This is really cool the way that they built this. They're getting paid, and it's relatively inexpensive in my opinion. So that's good to know. But I got one with my plan. And so here's the options. I chose photography right here. It was between avatar characters because you can see what this one can produce. And then you have the photography style, but I went ahead and chose photography and then I uploaded like 12 images. It took about 30 minutes to create the custom model. And then we had my custom model trained right here. We can view images based on what I've used this model for, but I'm going to walk you through more of those in just a minute. You can see all the images that have been created with that specific model. We can go over here and click on the Seelab. So this is what the dashboard's going to look like. We can create an image. They have a help center. We have our collections over here. I can show you how that works in a minute as well. We have our featured models, Flux HD, Flux Realism, Imagen 3, Imagen 4, and Imagen Realism. This one right here has a crown on it. You have to have a paid plan to use Imagine 4, the latest model. All these other tools over here, you can get access to some for free through different tools, but it would be a very minimal amount. And so I'm just trying to think of like, how are they paying for this? I do think that they have to pay in bulk, basically API access and developer access to these image generation models. It does cost money every time we run these. We're not just using free image models here, maybe not the best. And that's why if you want the best Imagine 4, then you have to pay for a monthly account, which makes sense because otherwise the company will fall under if they're just paying 80 cents per image generation and give all that away and then they don't make any money. You guys understand that. So you can replace background. They have these different tools over here. I don't know if I'm going to spend too much time messing around with those. I just really wanted to show you what the capabilities are and talk about the difference between this and kind of a PhotoGPT, if you will. There's a photography style right there. Train your own AI. And then we have our collections over here. So let's say we click on creation. All these images that have been created, if I wanted to put these in a collection, all you do is hit the add to collection button right here, and then you create a collection. So if you're working on this and using this for a company and you're a image design company or something like that, a graphic design company, you would just put the company's name right here and start creating images for them. I'm going to walk you through the path I took just messing around with the software. Right off the bat, we had our AI model created. You can see I've done some tests right here, create a YouTube thumbnail, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the models that we have to choose from. There's a ton of models. And the model I was using was custom models or photography. And so we click on custom models. I have one custom model and we can select David. So it's going to focus on my face and creating images with my face on them. That's what that model is trained on. But you can train all kinds of different models. You could train a coloring book model, all kinds of good stuff. So what I did was we can go and click on one of these and it will tell you, hey, standing on a beach, smiling, Hawaiian shirt, sunny ambience. This is what it came out with. I do think that the images and even my teeth and everything are very accurate. This is definitely a good image. Now they have some magnified, we can zoom in and so forth. So we could like magnify, let's see right over here, we can go in standard presets. There's all kinds of different stuff. We can also upscale this right there and push magnify. And then they have different tools over here to fix the image. They also have a video. I may as well see what we can do right there and add credits. Maybe I can't do videos. We would need to add credits to create video packs. Magnify. Nope, you don't get any video creation. So that's important to know on any of these plans. I'm not really sure what that is. Is that just image upscaling? I really don't know. Let's go back over here and let's just say we want to go with magnify. 2x, I'm just going to say magnify. I don't really know if your prompt here, what we would need to do to magnify that, or if we would we can also change the prompt here and say, hey, add a tree in the background and magnify. I don't really know what that is, but certainly it's going to go through. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. This is the magnify option right over here, and it's supposed to be nice and crisp. You can see that so far, just look at the lines up here, very, very crisp, a lot more wrinkles than I actually have. And then what I don't like is that as we scroll through, you'll see that there's some teeth issues going on right there that just are not good. We'd have to put this through another AI in order to fix the teeth right there. You can see that it just didn't do a good job with that teeth right there. So this image would not be usable. We'd have to mess around with this a lot more. And we use credits to be able to do that. So that just shows you what you are dealing with. You're probably going to get mixed results. And definitely this is not a perfect tool. I'm glad that I was able to show that example, that it got the teeth wrong, it got the wrinkles wrong. But I want to show you real quick earlier on in the review how to use the tool to create a coloring page or something like that. That's how I definitely would use this, and I could actually make money using this. I pay for tools like Ideogram. I pay $20 a month and I've been paying for months. That's been a really good tool as well. Could this actually replace that tool? Those are some of the questions that you probably have as well. But right over here, what you would do is they give you some AI prompts to get you started if you wanted to, but I definitely don't want to go with David on this. We would maybe want to go with illustration or digital art. So let's just go with illustration. And maybe we would choose line art right over here. That would be a really good one. Or black and white sketch, whimsical, hand drawn, all kinds of good stuff. But let's just go with line art on this one. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Choosing a regular model, just choosing one of the generalist models, which is going to be Imagine 3, Flux HD, and those ones. And then I've also tried them against line art and so forth. I'm not really sure which one actually produces the best results. We'll have to go and kind of take a look at that. I created this prompt using Google Gemini, we have selected line art. Now you can select color palettes right over here. We're not going to do that on this one. And you have different sizes that you can choose right here. I have specifically chosen a size before and didn't get the size that I wanted. I selected 9x16 and it still created a banner. And then I selected 9x16 the next time and then it worked. So some of those things I'm keeping track of and why it's not going to get a perfect score. The image generation is pretty good. We're just going to stick with auto for now, but letting you know that you can choose those sizes and so forth. And like I said, we have line art, we have a advanced prompt here, and let's create. So the prompt is a high resolution of full page coloring book illustration for toddlers in a simple cartoon style. The central subject is a big happy apple. And then keeps going. You can actually select 1, 2, 3, or 4 images at a time. I love that it creates 4 images at a time. You got to see how fast this software actually is. It's very fast. It reminds me of Ideogram, and I love that it can create 4 images at once. You can see some blurriness even without zooming in. So that one would be no good. This one would be no good. And this one, it wanted a big happy apple. So really the only one that we actually could use is this one right here. It did a great job on this one. So out of the 4 images, we probably would only use one. And then you can see that there's some imperfections right over here. You can kind of see how AI works. It's finding an image and then recreating it and so forth. And sometimes it has the sign off, the signature of the artist that created it. What we're going to do is click on the edit button, and then we can clean, replace, reframe. We have different things right here. So I'm going to go, and this says replace. So I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to click right there. And then let's see, we can remove the background. Let's see, there's a brush, and I'm just trying to see where's a delete button. I'm just going to go with a clean right there and tap that and then push clean. And that should clean. I would say that should be like an eraser. We're going to find out. Okay, perfect. So it did work. We have our image right over here. We can click on it and it did clean and get rid of that. So that's how you would use that. It has some nice editing features. Go back over to creation real quick. So like I said, out of the 3, this one would have been good, but it's super blurry, didn't come out good. There's some things we could do to fix that. So we got 1 out of 4 images. Not the best. Now we could go back to a creation and keep the same piece of art, but change line art. And I'm going to use Imagine 3. And say, let's create, and let it go and create again. While it's creating, we can go to organization settings or profile settings. It's going to tell you what your generations are, where we're currently at. Every time you clean or replace elements or use background removals, magnifications, it's tracking all of that right now. Where is our total? There we go. We're 80. I've used the tool for an hour and you'll see how many images I've created. And we're only at 80 out of 2,500 generations in 30 days. I'm very impressed with the amount of image generations they are giving us, which is really good stuff. They definitely get a double thumbs up on that. We used Imagine 3 and you can see that it did a better job. We could use all 4 of these images right here. Look at that. You could use all 4 of these images if you're creating some type of coloring book for kids. So that one seemed to work better. I do like that the eyes were open on this one. I would say that it did better. Using their generic models, especially for coloring book creation, might do better for you. They have a sorting or search feature right over here based on, because at some point you're going to have hundreds or thousands of images that you've created. And so you're going to want to be able to search for stuff. And then you can hover over each image. It's going to tell you this run right here. It was a minute ago. We used Imagine 3. You can copy the prompt, copy the seed, and you can delete it as well or delete all. And you can hover over this and see that we used the line art model right over here. You can hover over this and see that we used a David model right there, and so forth. That's how you use the tool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we really need to go over other than I just want to show you some of the stuff that I created. All right, so I'm going to take you all the way down here and just kind of messing around with the software. Right off the bat, we went and created all these images right over here. And I would say even for just the Hawaii images, it did a pretty good job, probably usable right there. And I thought there was like an upscale button over here that you can actually upscale the image. You can reuse prompt, create variations. And from what I'm seeing, is the magnify basically their version of upscaling? Let's just say we take this image right here and I want to download this real quick, and let's use one of their tools real quick. So I'm going to go, if you want to get to their tools and kind of the dashboard, click on Seelab here, or Seelab right there. And that's when we can say upscale. Now I want to go and upscale, and that's the upscaler right there. What we want to do is click over here, and I want to grab the image that I just uploaded, upload that. So we just uploaded this. And then this is the part where it kind of feels, what is this? Invert No, background removal. So we could remove the background. I have Canva and I would just use it for that as well. But I'm not really seeing how to upscale, right? There's no button over here. This is the part where they need to improve the user journey because I don't know what to do. We clicked on their upscaler, we uploaded our image, and then there's no other button to process the upscale. We would need to just push the generate button, and that's not working either. So I'm trying to think, what are we trying to do here? I believe that it really is the magnify button, and the magnify button is the upscale. So I wish they would just call it an upscale. They're confusing people by using upscale on the front page, but then people aren't going to know that that's what magnify is. I just think that they should change the name personally. But that is what magnify seems to be. So we have a 2x and presets. We have portraits. I'm going to go nature and landscape. I'm just going to select that and I'm going to say magnify, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. It does take over a minute. I would like to see the upscale a lot faster. And you only get on tier 2, I get 32x magnifies per month, which is reasonable because if you go to other free upscale sites, they usually only give you a few per IP per month. Then you have to be on paid plans. So I think it's pretty good. We're going to click on this and it should have magnified it. I would move down like that and it truly zooms in and magnifies. You can see it just does not do a good job with teeth. So just keep that in mind right here. Everything starts being very crisp right over here. Look at the shirt and everything, really, really crisp. Everything's looking good. And then all of a sudden, look at my teeth. Look at the amount of wrinkles. The teeth are just all jacked up, right? You can't use this image. So the magnify, I'm not impressed with from a human touch. Not very good. So we're going to go over to collections right over here, or go back to creation. And I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes just going over some of the things that I've done. So we use some different models over here. Overall, looking at some of the images, they did a pretty good job, but sometimes the fingers and hands look a little different. You'd need to fix up some of the background. And then right over here, there's someone standing there. There's a vehicle in the window reflection, or is the vehicle actually inside the coffee shop? So I'm not sure I could use that. This one's actually pretty good. I think this one turned out really good. Might need to fix the sign there, but everything else looks really good. And the faces are a little bit better than the GPT, in my opinion. This one got my Under Armour logo right, and my body size and everything pretty accurate. But there is something weird about the fingers right there. Like, first of all, you're holding the mug in between your two fingers, kind of a little weird. And then you can kind of see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's something else going on underneath. So 5, and this is not the thumb. So this wouldn't be usable because the fingers are all messed up. So we would need to go and create variations of this. Actually, let's go and do that real quick. So I'm going to say create variations. It's going to go create some variations, and then we're going to come back down and just kind of take a look at some more. And then over here, this one probably did the best as far as the fingers are right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding a little coffee mug, and everything looks good. That does look like me, but we would need to figure out the image upscale. I would probably take this and use a test. I'm going to go ahead and download this real quick. Then I'm going to go over to an image upscaler that I use that I only get to use sometimes because it has limits. And I'm just going to leave it at 200 and upscale this real quick. You can see that these images, they're not even a megabyte. This only took about 13 seconds. Yeah, this one didn't do a good job either. My face is all jacked up. So how usable are these? That one messed up on the teeth and stuff as well. At least we got that kind of test out of the way. I'm going to come back over here real quick. I think from the far away, and these might work for thumbnail, I think that what I would want to experiment with would be a more close-up in the actual prompt, a close-up of me holding a cup of coffee and so forth. See if we can get that initial image, because that's the best that it's going to do. The upscaler and so forth is not going to be able to do a good job, and we've even tested other ones as well. That kind of gets them a little bit off the hook as well, that even other image upscalers are going to have a hard time with AI images as well. So then we have these different models that we used over here. So a black and white sketch, and we had some different coloring book prompts, and you can see using different models here. And then coming over here and looking at this one, that would be a very intricate adult coloring style image right there. It does a pretty good job. Then this one, we used Flux HD in the same prompt, and you have a lot darker lines right there. And then we'll keep coming forward. Then we use like a toddler one right over here that did a great job right here. I could show you the prompt, but it really does tell us, say everything about the sun, the ocean, and the castle, and the dragon. You can pause the video and read the advanced prompt right there. And we used line art as well. I thought this one was really cool because we actually used the dark SF and it added a kind of purple to the black. This might be something unique and cool that someone can go and color in the rest of this, but it'll automatically have purple outlines, which could add some fun to coloring books. Maybe you could sample out some coloring books like that. And then we use this one over here. We also use Imagine 3, and it did a great job with these images right here. You can see we can literally come in. There's a wave, a castle, sand castle, the little dinosaur toddler coloring page. This one, the prompt looks really, really good. For coloring pages, this will work really well, and you'll find which model, because there's like dozens of models to choose from that they've created. But essentially, it's using about 3 or 4 main image generation models, and then they just have probably some prompting on top of it. They even have a logo generator model. You can see AI content mix. We would need to delete that or maybe add TM or something like that. But that one looked decent. I don't think it did a very good job with creating logos. You can see that they're just not that good at misspelled and so forth. And so it didn't really do a good job with creating logos. This one, we used Flux HD, and then it didn't give us text logo, but it did create some pretty cool looking logos that maybe we could bring into Canva and do something with. I think it did a great job with creating some actual art logos that we could go in and add the text and do some further editing. Again, we used Imagine 3 and put the same prompt in and said it must have a logo and text. And you can see we would need to fix up some stuff. And I don't think that the logo itself is that great, but you would have to mess around with it. We did choose colors on this one as well. We actually went up here to colors, and I chose this purple color palette, and this is where you can go and select what colors you want to use. You can actually select up to 3 colors, and then it will force it to create it in that color, which is super cool. Now let's move into some more stuff right over here where I actually came in here and said, hey, I attached one of my thumbnails and said, hey, create this. I used a different model though, so it just created a guy right here. It actually looks really, really good. It created a random guy and said viral scripts, and it did spell subscriber right. And so that one did a pretty good job for like a thumbnail type use. And then right over here, I actually selected 9:16, and you can see viral scripts. What I tried to do was come over here and basically this right over here, what I used the ChatGPT 4o image creator to do. I uploaded one of my thumbnails and then I basically trained my own GPT, and this is what it created. And I think it did an amazing job with viral scripts, the subscriber thing, and then trying to add me back in. And that's the only thing that ChatGPT cannot do, which is basically keep the human 100% the same, or even attach myself and say, hey, use this for inspiration. It just can't do that yet. And that's where proprietary software comes in, where I'm going to be testing out another software that's specifically very, very good at creating YouTube thumbnails. I'll be testing that out. It's a paid tool, and I'll be doing a review on that. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe. If you've made it this far in the video, I'll just remind you one more time, go ahead and sign up to the Sumo Day 2025. Win your choice of any tier 2 tool. All you have to do is put your email in there to enter. Okay. So we come over here and you can look. This one does a way better job at inserting my face into the mix, right? But we would need to fix the viral scripts is just cut off a little bit too much, right? Other than that, and then it puts us in like a realistic, like I'm standing next to my computer. So it did a decent job. We could use some of these. This one, it did a good job. It used yellow, it used green, it has subscriber right there. So this one would be usable right there to go and do Pinterest marketing and so forth. This one was not good. This one was pretty good as well. Subscriber is spelled right. We're by a computer and script. So this one looks like me and everything. So it got 3 out of the 4 right on that prompt. Then we came over here and used David for all these ones. And then we had our prompt, create a YouTube thumbnail that is viral and catchy with fancy bold yellow that says viral scripts. You can see and then I said no hat. And so here's what it came up with for us. It is using my face, very accurate on these images. So this is where I was most impressed. And then we had this one over here, which I actually super funny. We'll just go click on it. I said, create a catchy, bold yellow, glowing font, and a heading is viral scripts with a blue hat. guys, it's AI. You have to specify what kind of hat. It just decided to put me in kind of like a Fisher cap right here, but viral script right there. This actually came out pretty good. And then we came over here, viral scripts right there as well. A little blurry. Like I would just wish that these would be a little bit crisper to be a perfect thumbnail. We would need to go and try to upscale this and get it to look a little bit better. I do like, well, I don't have hair right there, so I would want to get rid of that. I do like this one though. If you're not showing your teeth, the image upscaling is probably going to work better. What they do is magnify, so they zoom in, and I don't like that. I would probably download these and use a different image upscale. I don't know why it decided to put me in a fedora right there. And then we have this one out over here, but this one is kind of like I'm Dick Tracy. I do like how the spotlight really comes down on me right here. It looks like a real image. Then we have this one, viral scripts. It did a pretty good job with those ones as well. And then we'll come back up over here. I tried to attach an image right over here. It didn't do a very good job with that one. So those are some of the results that I was able to get. Here's that other one where we said to create some variations of this, and you guys can be the judge. That one is probably not usable. That one's not usable as well. It didn't do a very good job with the remixing. So I'm glad that I spent the last couple hours going over the tool. I think this would be great for creating coloring books and product type images, mockups. I think it's still got a ways to go with the AI model and so forth. I would say after using the tool, I kind of initially was pretty impressed with it, but as I've used it more with results like this, that all four of those are just not usable. And then the magnify or quote unquote image upscaler isn't that the best. Wasn't impressed with the image upscaler, but I was impressed with some of these things that I was able to get out of it on the first go. So I think you're better off getting the image created on the first go, and then you're going to be able to actually use that image. I'm impressed with the amount of allotted image generations they give you per plan. I think it's priced right, and they're generous with the amount that they give you. I would still give this one the edge over PhotoGPT. The quality was a little bit higher, and I was able to get some of the David trained AI models that I would actually be able to, like this one came out really, really good, right? With spending time in here, you probably could get some images that are going to work for you. And I would, like I said, if I was comparing this to PhotoGPT, I would recommend this tool over PhotoGPT. At the end of the day, my rating for Seelabs is probably going to be a 3.8. I still think that they've got a ways to go, but I mean, I don't remember what my PhotoGPT's rating was. I better go and check real quick. Okay, so I gave a PhotoGPT a 4. So in all fairness, I've got to would probably adjust these ratings, but I'm going to go based off of, because I already put that video up. I already rated that one. I think I'm rating these tools a little too high, but since I gave PhotoGPT a 4.0, I'm going to give Seelab a 4.3. It does get the edge. So it's a 4.3 rating for Seelab. I'll leave the link below. Go pick it up. By the time this video comes out, you'll still have 2 hours left of Sumo Day. Make sure you're signed up for the Sumo Day giveaway, Tier 2, any tool of your choice. Go sign up for that. Link will be below to go pick up Seelab if this is a tool that you need in your arsenal. I appreciate you making it all the way through this video. And the secret word today is lobster. And if you type in lobster in the comments below, I know you watched the entire video and you are a rock star. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.